Good morning, folks, and welcome to the half, or might I say the quarter, because currently I am the only host who is available. Now, it is entirely possible that we may be joined by our own Aaron Montgomery here shortly, but there is a good reason for why, number one, I am currently the only host available, and number two, why it looks like I'm in a weird bunker here. What you might not know is that I am in a hotel room, and it looks like so is
Hotel room.
As you might be able to see,
Uh,
we are having internet problems, as is usual for trade shows. It is not always perfect, but we are certainly trying to come to you live from, as you might have guessed, DAX, the Decorative Apparel Expo in Kansas City, which is going on today and tomorrow. So, Aaron, how's it been? How's it going, my friend?
it's
Aaron,
I just got into the room
well,
that they said. Can you even hear me?
yes, we can now. Not well. All right. So
Uh, not well.
apparently still having some internet issues, and we'll see. Hopefully I'm coming through for you guys too. But yeah, certainly there are certainly things to be wanting in the land of trade shows and hotel room internet, and usually this is something we have to deal with for other reasons. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get Aaron back. If we don't get Aaron back, I will keep talking. But I'll say hi to some of you folks who are here. I know we've got a few of you guys watching in. First, we have Yosta saying hi, all from Sweden. Happy to have you on. Jerry saying, doing a loner. Yeah, I might well be, even though we're trying to get Mr. Montgomery on. It looks like it's pretty rough. Jerry says, hi, guys. Hi, Jerry. It's like Aaron dropped out, so I'll just take this for now. Richard says, good morning. Good morning, Richard. Christine Shreve, our own of Women in Business podcast, and much more. Miss being at DAX with everyone. Miss having you here as well, certainly. It's a smaller crowd, but it's an energetic crowd. I've seen some people down on the floor so far. It's going quite well. People are out talking, getting finance. That's the thing too. I can hear people. People are talking financing. They are talking equipment. They are getting set up. They are working. So it is good to hear that, despite the fact that it is certainly a little bit smaller show and some restrictions are certainly in place to make things safer for everybody. It is still really great just to see people out and see people starting to go. I know I have to say, smaller crowds. We'll have to see how things go with the registrations. I know I have not as big a crowd tonight for my workshop or for this afternoon for my workshop, but certainly I hope an engaged crowd because they're going to get all of the energy that I would bring to a larger workshop as I usually do. So if you guys don't know, that's the other thing that's going on for me today is I am teaching. So not too far after this, whenever this ends, I am T-1 hour from getting absolutely in to the show and having to teach. And I agree. Here we have Crystal says, better off using phone service over hotel internet. The only problem being that our own Aaron Montgomery found out this morning his phone service in this area is not doing it. It is not quite making enough to make uploads easy. I'll say I think I'm the luckiest so far that my hotel happens to have internet that's carrying on. I will have to see how this keeps going. Terry says, greetings from Maui. Well, greetings, Terry, and happy to have you in. So yeah, as you guys may know, DAX Kansas City is going on right now. Decorative Apparel Expo. It is a wonderful kind of Midwestern show where we have it's regional. There's a lot of engaged people who are there. And I'll say what you do is you get a lot of great attention at the DAX shows and certainly education. They get people in to do detailed education. Well, they get somebody like me to come in and do digitizing education, embroidery education, and other things. Would have loved for it to be a normal show year. We were doing all the smaller seminars as well and everything else. But this year I'm doing one big workshop, so 3.5 hour workshop, like the classes I often do with breaks. I do let people get up and go to the restroom. I promise I don't torture everybody through the whole class. But we do have the long classes going on today. And after I go on, there's a hands-on embroidery class with Katie Woodman coming right after. And I know we've already had also, we've got, we have Charlie doing screen printing again. We've got a lot of people out. It's just that it's a little bit different this year. So longer classes. I see Aaron trying desperately to get back on. We'll see if he pops on, but if not, no big deal. But yeah, that is live shows, and that is the reality of being out on the road. When you're a road warrior, you never know how it's going to turn out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wow.
Who knows if it'll turn out, but hey, we can hear you.
It was for now. We're here. Okay. I finally got on a Wi-Fi. I finally got into a room. So
Nice.
Where are we at, Eric? 5 minutes into the half. You should have cut me off at 11 instead of at noon.
Yeah, right. I know we're going to be real close to it, but hey, I think this is the way things are today. We're kind of having a bit of a weird experience, but hey, I think it works out. That's the road. The road is really great, and the road is hard. We get to see people we want to see, but it's hard to get accommodations dealt with. It's hard to get places. It's hard to get internet. That is just how that is the truth of the road. It's a good thing we teach live, because if we were teaching all internet, it might not be so great from room to room. I don't know if I'd be nearly so happy about it. So
it was different when we were home all the time, and there was no conflicts. But now, this is my first live show. Yours first live back too, right, Eric? Okay.
This is I feel rusty, by the way, everybody. Whatever kind of hopes and prayers you got, I'll take them, because I feel rusty. I feel edgy today for sure.
All right, Eric. Well, what do we got in the comments here, man? Let's see what
we got a few people coming on. Well, so far we have everybody saying hi, but then we have the latest one we hadn't answered yet is Ramona, who said, "Did I miss Matt much? I'm glad to see you both today." I said, "No, you haven't missed much at all, because we're just trying to get going."
Yeah, definitely. You missed my internet issues, Ramona. So that's it. That's all you missed.
You missed me complaining about internet and saying I'm rusty, and trying to explain why I have the my headboard as the background of what I'm doing here, because it super feels weird. But hey, that's how it goes. And Jerry came in saying, "Look forward to your class this afternoon, Aaron." So I would assume that is the workshop you're doing for the open house for Condi.
Correct. Yep. Condi open house. Jerry. Interestingly enough, I just was messaging with Sprite saying, crap, I'm having some internet problems. This may not be good. I have sent them a copy. I actually pre-recorded the session just in case it all falls apart. But things are starting to come together. Eric was nice enough to try to help me out. And then I actually was able to just get into my room that they said wasn't going to be ready until 2. So now we just got to get my equipment in here, and we'll go from there. So hang loose.
Hang loose, everybody. No, that's been my kind of, I don't know why, in the last year in the pandemic, for some reason, this kind of became doing the best I can is what it's been. I don't know why I make that hand gesture now, but that's me just like hanging in there. That's what I'm doing. But honestly, it's not bad at all. All right, so I agree. I have to bring this up from Christine. She's totally right. Eric, you'll be fine. You get you get anxious before, and then the other guy shows up. This is true, but he never shows up until I'm on, and I would really like him to show up earlier, so I feel good for the hour before I'm presenting.
Guess what? You're on, dude. Let's go.
I feel good right now. Like I said, I feel good right now. The cameras are on. I feel fine. As soon as this camera's off, I'm being a wreck until I get done with the presentation. But hey.
So here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
You just keep it. We'll do the pretend cutoff, and then you just come right back on. And
I'll just keep running the cameras. If I keep running the cameras the whole time, I can't break.
Camera mount it. All right, get your selfie stick or whatever you need, and then you'll just be that guy walking around talking to himself on camera.
Sure, 24 hours a day. I'm sure that'll be fine. No consequences from that at all.
It can't be bad for any relationships or personal life or anything.
Mental health, any of that. Any of that. Everything will be fine if I'm just on 24 hours a day so that I never crack. That should be great.
Yeah. Nice. All right, what else we got? You're unfortunately running the board.
Oh, not a problem. We got some more people. Jerry says, "Oh my gosh, great internet." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's working for now. So I'll fingers crossed, man. We got to keep going. Happy to have that.
Whatever.
Cross everything you got." Ramona says, "I'm working on swag bags today. Fuller embroidery has me inspired." Yeah, swag bags. Is that swag bags for customers? Because I love that. I do really like the small unasked for extra. It's a big thing for marketing. The small unasked for, even inexpensive, doesn't have to be much, extra thing that you give somebody, a little lanyap, that really does a good deal for people.
Definitely. So let's talk about the swag bag for 1 second here, Eric. Then what obviously you're familiar. So, and I want to get Ramona's feedback too. Is there something else besides the bag that's going to be happening? Or what goes in a swag bag? What
here we go. Actually says 4 events to pass out. Yeah, great. Also great. I really should merch. I should be doing merch for this show, and I didn't manage to get together. But yeah. Hey, embroidery nerd is doing it.
Neither of us have time for that.
I know. That's the thing. It's like a lot of time I'm like, hey, folks, I'm running my own business and I'm running the stuff that I have to run for the main show. So yeah, guys, there's a lot of stuff going on there for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's, if I were doing swag bag right now, I like this. And this is something I actually talked to Jeff about. We talked about merchandising, and I think that there's some good stuff there. Number one, he said when he does stuff, he doesn't do embroidery because he's showing embroiderers. So he makes them stuff that's not embroidery. And I think that's something we forget is we make stuff for each other. If you're making stuff for a market and they already do stuff, have stuff, then most definitely I'd say, yeah, that makes sense to make something that's slightly outside of the realm. So still applicable to them. My thing for swag, these are my rules. It should be have utility, or it should be utility, or and be delightful, something that's interesting, that is something unexpected that people are going to have delight in. It's also what I think about when you're doing embroidery the right way. And then on top of that, it should be something that hangs around. That really comes from either it's delightful enough to show people, it's cool, literally cool, interesting, unexpected, or it has enough utility that it's around forever. I have a fabric tape measure, a retractable tape measure in my bag right now that I swear is more than 20 years old. I was a kid when I picked it up. I still have it. The logo's worn off by now, but can you imagine how many thousands of impressions that thing had? How many times it was seen by someone before it wore off? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Great thoughts there. What else we got here?
Let's see. So swag goes in the bag area and treats gifts, merch, all sorts of good stuff. Well, we know that. But
yeah. Is that, yeah? Well,
that's Christine.
Well deserved. I just thought we kind of discussed what those treats, gifts, and merch are. But all right. So what else you got there? Don't forget, Jerry said that you're a good presenter.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, Jerry did say I'm always a good presenter. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope I am. I certainly like to give people enough value when I can. I try. I will try again.
Heard it here first on the half. He is.
And I'll say this is true too. Christine says Dax gives good swag to its vendors. I still have several things Dax gave vendors over the years. Me too. As a booth vendor, I had some great stuff, and as a speaker, they've always taken good care of us. If you haven't seen it, they also have swag here because these are actually branded badge covers.
Look what I got though.
Oh, I didn't know I was an exhibitor badge for that too. I didn't know
if you need an exhibitor's badge. So.
Well, I got the speaker one. I don't know which one of the stripes you get that's more that's more wonderful. Is it the speaker badge that gives you more clout, or is it the exhibitor badge that gives you more clout? I don't know. I like to wear the speaker badge around so I can pretend I'm important.
I figured since I paid for it, I want the exhibitor badge.
Yeah, I agree. I've worn many of them at the same time before. I've definitely been swapping between the two to go, which lounge do I want to get into?
Exactly.
Depending on the trade show.
Wherever the VIP line looks the best, right?
Wherever the coffee is free, that's the one I'm going to wear on top.
There you go.
You guys may not know, there's usually an exhibitor lounge. If you don't know, secrets, I mean, not like a big secret, there's usually an exhibitor lounge somewhere that probably has refreshments that you don't get. But there's a lot of cost that goes into getting those refreshments and being an exhibitor, so trust me, they need it.
Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Ramona
yes.
Said, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
includes my favorite unconventional embroidery tools.
I know what this is, and this should be funny. So I won't give it all away for everybody, but let's just say if you ever put your hands in the sewing field, then you'll know. You'll get to see it. So yeah, she'll see it at Applicate Getaway, which Aaron is speaking at. That should be awesome. So you'll have to see and get that too.
All right. Yep. I will.
You'll have to report back. Looks like the internet's freezing up on you again, Aaron. I will carry on. Brian Bailey, Creative in Brilliance, and as you can see, definitely wearing the Imbrilliance swag also. It's wrapping around on me right now. I've got my Imbrilliance lanyard on. And by the way, if you see me tomorrow at the show, because I'm being my class tonight, so you won't see it. If you see me tomorrow at the show, I have some Imbrilliance swag for a few folks. I brought some stuff. I've got a little bit. I don't have a ton, but I got some stuff. I got some lanyards. I got some pens. If you're desperate for your Imbrilliance black and yellow, come and see me. But yeah, absolutely. Swag is awesome, and we are having fun at the show. I mean, we still have a lot going on. We're still working hard, but the shows are fun. And I mean, honestly, if you love what you're doing, if you love teaching, if you love being with the people who are here, how can you not have some fun? I mean, I talk about the nerves, and the nerves are real, but at the same time, It's exciting. And that nervousness is kind of telling you you're into the good stuff. You're doing something that's exciting, that's important to you. So nerves are a good sign, folks. We still have a lot of fun, and believe me, after everything's done and the euphoria of finishing your big presentation hits, then the fun becomes a lot more fun.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Oh man.
Well, I'm in and out a little bit. I believe, Eric. Is that true? Is my internet kind of?
No, you're doing good now. You popped out for a second, but you're in now. Let's bring in Jerry one more time. We've got another one here. Wondering if folks give their clients a freebie with a large purchase. Yeah, lots do. And I would say, as a garment decorator, we used to do it all the time, especially when it was something like, as an embroiderer, if you have multiple heads as an embroiderer, sometimes you have an empty head. You have a head that's running where there's nothing under the design. You've got an odd number of garments that don't fit. Sounds like a great time to throw something under, as long as it can run the same file, and to throw something else in that might be interesting to your client. Or honestly, if you're doing new techniques, anything else, use the client's logo on it. That's a real gift. If it's a gift with your logo on it, that's self-promotion. It's different. It's not that you can't do it, but certainly I think that the way to get more business is to actually show them what's there with their actual logo on it. But that's me. I like to do that. I like to give somebody something with their logo. And in fact, one of the things I've done is when people have kids who I know that they have kids that we're working with, I will do a kids version of their business garment pretty frequently, because nothing gets people jazzed like their business's logo for their kids' garments. They tend to dig that a lot. And I've had a lot of good responses for that, especially like we've done that for baby shower type stuff, where suddenly we also send you with your order onesies with your logo on it, heat pressed or something, so that you've got something for the brand new kiddo. So that's always fun. That's fun stuff to do, and it gets people excited. And also pets, believe it or not, I've done pet stuff too the same way, because we used to do dog shirts and dog stuff too. So yeah, that's fun. But by the way, I need to just bring this up briefly. Joe Rita says, "Oh gee, see what I'm missing. I am so sorry to hear this. Joe Rita had a big automobile breakdown on the way. She was trying to drive out to Kansas City."
Oh, no.
And I'm so sorry, Joe Rita, that happened. And I hope you're doing okay and everything's going to be all right. I know that is a lot of expense and trouble, and wish we could have seen you, but glad you're at least safe. So Joe Rita, stay safe, and I hope things go okay for you.
Yeah. Where's Joe Rita coming from approximately? Any idea?
You know what? I have to admit, I don't know how far away she is. I know she was like 200 miles away from her kid's house when she broke down almost, and AAA had to tow her in. So I mean, it was a rough time. She drove in.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, Joe Rita, maybe we can see in Chicago instead.
Yeah, she's down in Texas. I know she's closer to Austin, but I think Fort Worth is. I'll be down in Fort Worth.
Or Fort Worth, Impressions Expo. Yep. There you go.
Aaron will be at AG. I'll be at Impressions Expo in Fort Worth. Who knows? We'll have to see what's going on. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? We've got Justin Armenta, digitizer and of the Embroidery Nerd, says, "I often have an empty head." Okay.
Is that an embroidery joke, Eric? Am I?
Yeah, well, rather than having one head that's not running something on a multi-head machine, having an empty head might be slightly different.
Okay. All right.
Good joke.
You got to, you guys know I'm not an embroiderer, so you got to keep me up with the embroidery jokes. So.
Well, I said you might have one head empty instead of one head not running, and so I'm getting ribbed a little bit, which is true, because sometimes the head that's empty is on your shoulders, and that's not great.
Yeah.
But
I've got that all the time. So that,
I don't. It's a constant whirlwind, and I like this. Ramona says cotton candy brain, which she probably meant fluffy and sweet, but for me, it's more like whirling madly and on fire, which is how you really make cotton candy. And I think that's a little more accurate for me. It's spun into a tangled cloud. Yeah, that's how mine works. So I don't know about anybody else.
But I really love cotton candy. That's my favorite treat, just FYI.
No, cotton candy's fantastic. I agree. Ramona says, when I do patches for customers, they always get the extras. I always fill the hoop. Awesome. Yeah, it's a great way to do it. And I'll say sometimes when I've ordered, and this is the kind of the not nice and the nice way of handling, say, ordering patches out where you have minimums. Sometimes if I'm doing patches in-house and I'm getting to where I'm approaching more patches than I think I can run reasonably and make work for me, I will order them outside of house, outsourced, and then I will end up with minimums that are much higher than my order. I will bring those in and stock them, and the nice way to handle it is to offer somebody more patches for the same price they were going to get. The super nice way. The less nice but very profitable way is to do the order, maybe with some extras, and then retain the other order if you know they're coming in later, and the rest of them become an instant fulfillment order for them for their next reorder. So that is, ways to handle patches, but I do love the idea of, filling the hoop and making the patches. I think that's fantastic. And people, I'm sure, as long as they don't end up with one in your big span of your big span hoop and you're giving away 12 patches, then hey,
Yeah.
do you? I think it works well. And honestly, depending on your machine time, it may not be a whole lot more than what you would usually do. That's like I said, with the whole idea of a multi-head that has one head not running anything, it literally costs you nothing but thread costs and the garment costs. And so it's the cheapest way to do somebody else's logo on something that is, aside from, of course, rethreading time. And that may or may not be an issue depending on the colors they're running. So,
Okay. Interesting.
Justa says I nailed it. I'm assuming the cotton candy brain. Hopefully, yeah, admittedly. And then Carol says I walked in a strange place in the conversation.
Oh, sorry. Did we miss one from Christine?
Did we? Oh, there we go. Christine said, I almost gave into the urge to go to DAX just to go. With so much going on, just couldn't justify it right now. Definitely missing seeing everybody. Like I said, Christine, missing seeing you too. I mean, I'm glad you guys are going to get together at Applique Getaway. I'm not going to be able to make that one. This is just a weird season. I kind of told my wife it's a strange season. It feels a little weird. I think what we do is we kind of shake the rust off, shake the dust off, see how things go, and hopefully next season will be more like the ones we remember. That's kind of how I feel for right now. I mean, I'm happy to be hopeful and seeing things come back, but I'll admit that it's a strange time, and certainly, it feels different, and I think it'll take a minute before we feel like we used to.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, Christine, DAX, Minnesota. That it's after Applique Getaway, so
it's always possible. DAX, Minnesota is pretty good.
There you go.
There's ample opportunity.
You're right up that way, anyways. It's just a little jaunt, right? I actually don't know that to be true, but
from Traverse City, yeah.
I'm driving to Indianapolis first before going to Minnesota, which makes no sense since I'm coming from St. Louis. But there's a family reunion there, so we're gonna go to the family reunion. We're gonna go to Minnesota, so we're putting some windshield time on, so you can do it too, Kristen.
See, I'm doing that for Texas. For Fort Worth, I'm driving out for Fort Worth.
There you go.
I think it's going to be nice, and honestly, I'm staying a little bit longer, and I'd like to have my vehicle. So sometimes I prefer it. I know. I wish I'm going to have to probably still rent up in Minnesota, because if you guys don't know, Treasure Island is about 45 minutes to an hour outside of that Minneapolis airport. It's a bit of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah. Lori says, do you guys do any shows on the East Coast? I have done Atlantic City, but not this year. This year is DAX and Fort Worth and out. That's it for me this year. We'll see next year what comes up, and if they ask me to come out for any of the Impressions shows, maybe. But Atlantic City last time, I'm not saying it wasn't great or whatever. It was a good show, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it work again. I just don't have as much out there to do, to tell you the truth. And sometimes we have to co-locate with other things we need to do.
Yeah,
for sure. So let's see. Christine says probably more likely for DAX Chicago.
Okay, all right.
Chicago is closer for Christine.
Chicago's closer. It makes sense.
Yeah, Tinley Park. It's a great show.
Yeah.
Definitely a great show.
Yeah. And as far as East Coast thing goes, there isn't a ton of shows up in the East Coast. You really have Atlantic City is the main one left.
Mm-hmm. Meadowlands, I guess next week is NBM.
I don't know.
I think
it's.
I believe
interesting.
Yeah, I believe NBM is Meadowlands.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about Meadowlands. Yep, you're right.
So there's that one,
right.
But yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And
then
it's
there's some down in the southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there have been.
And you got the ones in the southeast. I don't know if I'm breaking up here or not, Eric.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Are you missing me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit. Yeah, you're pausing out pretty hard. Okay. But yeah, it's East Coast is a little harder to get to. That, and a lot of us are. I mean, you'd be surprised how much of the industry is like in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. There's a bunch of us who are there who come from out of that area, and then certainly there's more people up north and back east. But there's a lot of us who come from kind of the west and the southwest who are trying to go out to to the New Jersey shows or what have you. Tends to be it's a bit of effort, but
Yeah.
Let's see here. I see this. Carol says Aaron must have gotten cotton candy on his camera lens. Yeah, it's streaking out. The internet's kind of dying. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? I have another question. I don't even know if I can get this through. We'll see if Aaron can even get to this question. Probably not. Do you think DTF printing will replace other technologies in the market? This is from Robert from Germany. So direct to film printing, I don't know. I'll have to say that I'm not the person to answer that. I know that certainly Todd's been talking about it a lot lately, and that's something you might want to check out the OSG folks for, see what they're saying, since Aaron seems to be frozen pretty badly here. I will say that printing's not really my big thing, but DTF wasn't as big of a thing when I was printing as much. Certainly, we did see a lot of people moving off to some things like no weed and white toner transfer and all that stuff. That is something, because doing transfers, doing custom cut transfers, stuff like that, there's always weeding, there's always other issues. So there are always some people who like to do things like white toner transfer so they can get onto multiple types of substrate, stuff like that. But I don't know if that's going to take over so much as there's other technologies that all have a place to be in that space, right? So let me see if I can get Aaron back. Looks like Aaron's back. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. And here's what I'm going to try, Eric. I'm going to turn off the camera and see if just the audio makes it a little smoother. All right.
Go for it.
So camera is off. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I can. Okay, now you're back.
I'm like the Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Right? Is that?
It is a comedy of errors, but hey, what can we do? This is, like I said, this is trade show life in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, tell Robert I'll reply in the comments if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right, Aaron's going to hit you up in the comments. We'll talk about direct to film stuff. Maybe that's the half next week when we're catching up from all this. But yeah, all right, direct to film. I don't know. For me, printing technologies seem to have different spaces they fit and different profiles of shops that they fit. Certainly, I know there's definitely a difference between screen printing in and direct to garment and sublimation as to where they fit, who they fit, and what sorts of shops they work best for. And so I'm going to assume, despite the fact that I don't know enough about precisely what direct-to-film type of technology you're talking about, that there's probably a different segment that works best for it. I know certainly you can actually go in every different place and say that. Everybody wants to say, like, DTG was supposed to be the screen print killer, but screen print still has something on it, especially in like high volume stuff that's low detail. It's like, why would you bother doing direct garment when you can go really fast on screen? There's different ways to do it. And I agree with Christine, what she's saying here. Every new printing technology is supposed to kill the existing technologies, and it never does. I guess DTF won't replace other options. It'll just be another option. Some options drop off and don't become as popular as they used to be, or some methods always can drop off, certainly, but I think we're still going to see a lot of these work out. Like in the places I'm more familiar with, I will say that there's been a place for cut vinyl transfer, there's a place for white toner transfer, there's a place for sublimation, there's a place for screen print, and they don't really they overlap in areas, but they're not equally suited to every area. That's what I've found, certainly. So I think that just like any other technology, it's hard to say one's killing something else. Everybody likes to say that stuff. I don't know that it always works that way. I think most of the time it really depends on what's the best fit for your customer base, what's the best fit for your equipment, what's the best fit for the economy of what you're doing. And that can change depending on where you are and who you are. I think that's just the case. So in any case, I would like to say that, depending on, no matter what technology you're into, no matter precisely what part of the decoration industry you're into, I think there's a fit everywhere. And I think that's one of the great things about going to trade shows like DAX or going to any of the trade shows, going to Applegate Getaway. Go see any of these trade shows, Impressions Expo, and you'll see different methods to do different things to get this, and sometimes to get the same thing done. Ultimately, we're trying to get garment decoration done. You guys all know I believe in the luxury of embroidery. I certainly think print has a lot of versatility. I love multimedia and combining these things, but I don't think any one of them is necessarily better, so much as they're a better fit. It's kind of like an evolutionary look at this thing. It's fitness. Well, what's fitness? Fitness is being the most fit for the environment that you're in. And in this case, the environment is the order, is the customer, is the place where the garment's going to be viewed, is the need, the problem we're solving for the customer. These things can happen no matter what kind of way we're working. We might be able to address these in different ways. And honestly, there's many ways to answer the same question. And frequently, it can really depend on what we want to spend, what we can spend, what we are able to do for our customer, what they need, and where we are in our own business. But ultimately, I think that there's no best. There's only the best fit for the time. And you know what I always say when we're talking about this stuff, it's not about a contest. See you later, folks.